So hello, this is Cheryl Wilson and welcome to my studio. And I wanted to bring you into my studio today because I'm going to try working on mineral paper and show you some of the incredible little qualities that I found. Some of the things I liked, some of the things I probably need to practice a little more on, but I like how it layers. It doesn't soak into the paper, but it has this layering quality that I know I could probably, with practice, really develop some really unique markings on my paper. These were done with watercolors, and then the others were done with some acrylics. So I thought I would share all this with you. The demo I'm going to do today is a little bit different. I've had several requests to do a demo on a paper called mineral paper. Mineral paper is different than regular paper like the watercolor paper or some of the other mixed media paper. It's made like from wood pulp. This paper is made from crushed stone. The feeling is very smooth. It's almost like eggshell-like. It's water-based. It won't tear, they say, because it's made from the crushed stone. It's got like 80% of calcium carbonate and with a tad of resin. That's why I don't think it tears. It's waterproof, acid-free, and it's very, very bright white. So I had someone actually give me a couple sheets before I invested in a whole pack. But I pulled out some tools because I'm going to do some regular, what I normally do in an abstract. So I'm going to move these things to the side, and I'm going to actually, I think, move the paper and do it this way. Let me check and make sure I'm in frame on my camera. Yeah, that's good. All right, so I'm going to start with some of my regular markings that I do, charcoal and graphite. Let's do let's see what that does. It smears. Okay. I'm going to do some ink, acrylic ink. I don't know if this is going to turn out like a picture. I mean, actual one that I'm going to frame. I had some water on there, so it's spreading. So far, it's acting about the same as any other paper I would use, I guess. This is the high flow acrylic. It's got a very unusual, like marbling look to it. Does not soak into the paper. So I'm going to pull out some different colors. I'm going to use a palette and mix some colors in here. I'm going to get some grays. Because it doesn't soak in, and there's some layering going on here, and almost some cell looking, this may be a lot of paint for it. So I'm going to take, this is a larger, like a dagger brush. I'm going to mix in, make it a little bit more white. It is a different feel than what I normally would have, because it's definitely not soaking in, so it's not going to dry. And that's what someone made a comment, that it doesn't dry. So let's add some. I'm going to try some, squirt some alcohol on it. It did what I thought it would. That's really pretty. So let's see. This video may take longer than I thought because it's not drying. So I like how this is looking. Let's. Oh, I like that. Let me see. I am going to dry this and attempt to dry it, since it is got the resin in it, and see. Let me put some of this over here. Okay, let me dry on this and see what our next step might be. One of the other things I always do with my abstracts is I use the blue shop towel. Let's see what that does. It actually is almost dry there, which I thought would take a lot longer. So it's I'm pressing down, and I'm still getting another layer off. Very interesting. Let's put some more alcohol down here. that's already dry. So when it's already dry, it does the same thing as you would expect. One thing that it seems to be doing is doing this really fun layering. So I'm going to dry some more. I'm going to turn the sound down, but I'm going to let you see. One of the things I love to do is I love to get a nice splat. And it doesn't have the splat I normally like. Let's do some black. Just try that. It's got this layering thing going on that's really beautiful. Let's try. It's almost like the colors on the top become very translucent in all of these areas, and you can definitely see some of the layers underneath. And I want to bring this out because this was a watercolor that I started, and the taping stopped. But what you can see on here is still a marbling look. So let me see how close I can get, because when you did a layer of the watercolor and then you added another layer, it gets this layering look here. And it's definitely not soaking down into the paper. So let's go ahead. I'm going to do my stems in this very loosely. Do my leaves. And let's go in. I have some watercolors here. And let's just see how we could draw in the stems and see how that does. We'll start with the green on top of the gold. It does not bleed out. Let's do some brown. Being very loose about on top of that. Let's go back in with some This is black. I just wanted to see how it blends. It's spreading out right there. So when it touches with water, it does spread out. So let's go ahead and do I'm going to loosely put some color. It touches the top of the paper and it doesn't at all soak in. Now it touched that there and it grabbed it, but let's I'm just giving some color to the paper. I'm going to give a tad of blue. I'm letting it kind of like marbleize around. So I touched the stem and it grabbed it. So I'd have to keep it away from the stem because it does bleed like watercolor. Now I'm not quite sure how this is going to dry. So I'm going to see about drying what we have here and going back in and working around once this is totally dry. Let's see. I wish you could see up close. Let me see if I can get the camera down at all, just so if you can see what it's doing. I don't know if I can. But the black and the gold is like mixing together on top, and it was almost like a bubbling little fission that it was doing. Now let me see. I have it really magnified. All right, let me bring it down again. Well, let me show you. That's a lot of the marbling, that it was doing the same thing on the flower. It's just this layering. Look at all that in there. This part down here is beautiful. Just layered on top of each other. Instead of soaking in, it just piles on top of each other in layers. You bring the camera back out again. Because of the shine on the paper, I have the camera set the way it is. Let me try the shop towel. All right, I'm going to do a little bit of a couple colors. Well, I like that. I like that look when you rub it. Let's do a little bit of black. Let's see. Kind of more of a gray. This is another almost a Cy Twombly. Let's see what. Oh, this is kind of thick for alcohol inks. So it was a little more than I wanted, so I like how it rubs in. Okay, so when you add just regular acrylics on the top, it does about what I thought it was going to do. And I like how it lays on top because I like being able to just throw some paint down like that. So let me try some charcoal marks. And maybe mark some on top. Okay, so my normal thing I would do is write my words on here. So let's a little green in there. Let's see. I have a lot of my spots filled up, so I'm just gonna let's try that. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, these were not meant to be creating paintings. It was meant just to show you the quality and what I thought of this particular paper. So keep that in mind. I would say I would try the paper again. I feel I do have some learning to do because the paint, the watercolor, and even the regular acrylic reacted differently than what I was normally used to. You can tell in the first one, it didn't blend the way it normally does. But when I did the flowers, look at the beautiful layering that you can do. And then the colors didn't mix as well when I did the acrylic. But I can see practicing with this, I can see coming up with some new ideas that I can incorporate into my art journey. So I hope you give this a try. I hope that you don't look at it as, okay, well, I didn't see anything beautiful painting that Cheryl created. But I hope that you look at it as, I'm going to give that a try. If it's something that you think you may want to try in your practice. I think it's worth a try.